Okay, so I will show that particular code with the help of demonstration. So what is that? First line is available here is the IO stream. Then next, using namespace as standard. Next, what is the class addition? After that, what is next? We are going to accept two different numbers. Okay, A, B, and suppose C to store the addition. Next one, just mention the specifier for this particular part. Okay, I will just tell you what is meant by specifier. Next, void first read function. Then he is going to read two different variables, A and then B. Then void perform the addition. C is equal to A plus B. Next one, void display. See out the addition. The addition as C. Okay. Now we have to call all these data functions using the main function. So write down that main function. Main function. First of all, create the object of that class. So to create the object of that class, first of all, we require the name of that particular class is the addition, and then the name of that object we have been considered here as A. So just user display message, enter two numbers. After that, just call all these functions one by one. So in which sequence you are going to call all these functions, so in that manner all these functions are executed. So first of all, we are going to accept two different numbers, so that's why call that read function. Then once we have been accepted both the numbers, perform the addition, so call the second function add. And third one, once the operation is performed, display that result to user. And last one is the return 0. Okay, so just I'll execute this code. Okay, somewhere expected semicolon is missing. Once we have it done with respect to this class always end with semicolon. Okay, the message for which is available inside that integer main, enter two numbers. So once we are going to call pass these two numbers 6 and 3 for that particular object, is going to first of all call this particular read function. So in that case, he is going to accept both the numbers A and B, means we have been entered 6 and 3. Then he is going to call the second function addition. Internally, he is going to perform the addition of both the numbers, and next one he is going to display that result. So the addition is 9. So this is called as object oriented programming. So public. So what is meant by that public? Just can anyone who is already familiar with this keyword public? Because in case of C++, 3 different access specifiers are available. So out of that 3, one is the public. So what is the meaning of that public access specifier? Yes, can anyone?
पब्लिक मधले मेथड आपण कुठे यूज करू शकतो?
Means whatever the data or methods which we have been mentioned as a public, all these methods and variables are accessible from anywhere from that program. Okay, ज्यांना आपण पब्लिक म्हणले त्या मेथड्स किंवा व्हेरिएबल्स आपण कुठूनही ऍक्सेस करू शकतो फ्रॉम आउटसाइड ऑफ द क्लास ऑल्सो. ओके, बट फ्रॉम दॅट पर्टिक्युलर प्रोग्राम इट सेल्फ. सो प्रायव्हेट म्हणजे कुठले झाले फक्त? येस, प्रायव्हेट. व्हॉट इज द मिनिंग ऑफ प्रायव्हेट? ओनली दोज व्हेरिएबल्स आर methods only accessible inside the class itself.
The data you
ओके, प्रायव्हेट म्हणजे तो डेटा फक्त त्या क्लास पुरताच अवेलेबल असतो. सो विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू दिस क्लास इंटीजर ABC हे काय झाले? बाय डिफॉल्ट व्हेरिएबल डिक्लेरेशन हे तुमचं काय असतं? कुठल्या टाईपचं असतं? प्रायव्हेट, पब्लिक और प्रोटेक्टेड? बाय डिफॉल्ट दिस पर्टिक्युलर डिक्लेरेशन ABC हे काय असतं?
पब्लिक.
बाय डिफॉल्ट दिस ABC इज हे तुमचं झालं प्रायव्हेट झालं. व्हेरिएबल्स वी कांट ऍक्सेस ऑल दिस व्हेरिएबल्स आउटसाइड ऑफ दिस क्लास. आपण इथं कुठे ऍक्सेस केले का ते व्हेरिएबल्स? आपण इथं हा ए म्हणजे काय केलेलं आहे या मेन मध्ये? द नेम ऑफ दॅट पर्टिक्युलर ऑब्जेक्ट आहे. ओके, बेटर वे आय विल जस्ट राईट हिअर A1. तुमचं कन्फ्युजन नको. ओके, आय विल मार्क एज A1. सो A is different and this A1 is different. So this ABC is only accessible inside this class. त्याचा स्कोप आउटसाइडला कुठेही ऍक्सेसिबल होत नाही. अँड प्रोटेक्टेड मीन्स व्हॉट? सो व्हॉट एव्हर विथ द मेथड्स अँड फंक्शन्स or variables which you have been marked as a protected, only those methods are accessible inside the derived class. Okay, derived class म्हणजे माहिती आहे का? फक्त हा जर बेस असेल ह्याच्या खालचा जो क्लास असेल, ओनली that particular class is going to access that members which are already marked as a protected. Okay, so protected चा स्कोप झाला बेस आणि डिराइव्ह साठी. पब्लिकचा स्कोप झाला थ्रू आउट द प्रोग्राम आणि प्रायव्हेटचा स्कोप झाला ओनली अप टू क्लास. समजले का? व्हेरिएबल्स म्हणजे हे 3 डिफरंट ऍक्सेस स्पेसिफायर्स, प्रायव्हेट, पब्लिक अँड प्रोटेक्टेड. प्रायव्हेट इज ओनली अप टू क्लास, प्रोटेक्टेड बेस क्लास अँड डिराइव्ड क्लास, अँड पब्लिक म्हणजे काय झाला? हा पब्लिक अवेलेबल इन एनी क्लास. Okay, but in that only program. So these are the 3 different access specifiers which are available in case of this CPP. Okay, so we will discuss the next point which is available with this. Which are available with respect to procedural programming. So in case of procedural, they focus on modules or they focus on just procedures. So just they are going to divide all the programs into different functions. So they are not going to just give more importance about the data. They are not going to provide the privacy because they are providing or they are just dividing their own program into different parts. So automatically privacy is automatically removed from that particular technology or from that particular concept. So functions and data should be treated equally. So in that case, both the data and functionally both are available throughout the program. So both are equal, both are accessible in equal manner. So this is so these are the different limitations. That's why nowadays we are using the object oriented concept, because once object is created, that particular object is going to access all the data members or functions only with respect to that particular object or function. So these are the few different limitations which are available with respect to this procedural oriented programming. So just I will today we will discuss this only difference, and then today we will stop here. So these are the different features with respect to procedural oriented programming and object oriented programming. Just divide into, just we have already discussed about that. Procedural oriented programming is basically divided into smaller parts, and object oriented programming is basically divided into number of different objects. So they are only accessible with respect to objects. So importance in case of POP, they are not going to give more advantage or more important with respect to data. Their focus is only on sequence, in which sequence they are going to access the data. So in case of OOP, sorry, procedural oriented programming, their focus is only in the sequence, in which sequence data is going to be executed first by one by one, one by one. But in case of OOP, they are going to give more focus on data as well as on functions, how they works, which data is accessible. Because once the object is created, for each and every object, different data is available. So approach, execution approach. In case of POP, top down approach is available. In case of object oriented concept, bottom up approach is available. Means once object is created, then and then only that particular method is available or accessible. So access specifiers, in case of procedure oriented programming, does not support for any access specifier, but in case of object oriented programming, will support for public, private, and protected. So data moving, so data can be moved freely from function to function into system, because uh, one program is divided into number of different procedures. So that particular data is available in each and every function. But in case of OOP, object can move and communicate with each other through only member functions. So as per the only object, that particular data is going to be moved. So next one is the expansion. To add new data and function, POP is not easy, not too easy, because he's going to perform only operations with respect to given data and function. Because in case of sequential manner, we can't add the new function in runtime. But in case of OOP, we can easily add the new data and function, because once object is created, we will provide the new data as well as we initialize new function for that particular data. So next, in case of data access, in POP, most functions uses the global data for sharing that can be accessed freely from function to function. So in case of POP, we are going to divide that particular program into number of procedures. So that's why all these procedures are going to be access all this data in function to function. So data is accessible in function to function. So by for that particular purpose, we have to mark that data as in globally, because each and every function is going to access that particular data. But in case of object oriented programming, data cannot move easily from function to function. To provide this particular functionality, we have just going to provide its access specifiers, either private, protected, or public. So data hiding, POP does not have any proper way to hide the data, because data is available to each and every function easily. But in case of OOP, it provide the data hiding facility. So that's why security is available in case of OOP. Then overloading. In case of POP, overloading is not possible, because with the help of same name, we can't mention the two different functions. But in case of OOP, we use the same name to two different functions, but with the help of different parameters. So examples, in case of procedure oriented programming, C, VB, Fortran, Pascal, these are the different examples. And but in case of OOP, we are using this C++, Java, .NET, Python. All these are languages belong from this object oriented programming. Okay, so these are the different properties or features in which manner POP, procedure oriented programming, and object oriented programming are differ from each other. Guys, as per the in same point of view, this particular difference is most important. Okay, हा डिफरन्स लक्षात ठेवावा लागेल. ओके, जय प्रणव.
हो सर.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
just
sir.
just try to remember these different feature points. Divide into importance कशावर आहे, approach कसा आहे, access specifiers कोणते आहे, data moving, expansion, data access, data hiding, overloading. So just try to remember only these key points, and according to these key points, just try to map all these key points with respect to this particular points. Okay, so today we will stop here.